Alright, so today we'll be drawing this object. We want to draw the isometric drawing as well as the orthographic views. But before we get started, we're gonna put some layers in. So in order to put the layers in, the command is LA enter, and we're gonna make a few layers. We need we already have the 0 layer. We're gonna be using that for the outline of the object. We also need a hidden layer, so we're gonna click on this icon here, the new layer, and then here in this space we're gonna write the word hidden, and then we're moving over to the color. For the color, let's use the cyan color, and the line type we're gonna change from continuous. We click on continuous, and we're gonna change that to hidden. So we're gonna scroll down to hidden. Let's select this one here. Okay, hidden. The next one we're gonna be putting in another new layer. So we're gonna select the icon here again. We're gonna put in a center line. Center line. Let's use the color yellow for our center line, and the line type should be loaded here. Let's scroll to center. Let's use this one here, center. All right, click on center. Okay, and we need also another one, so new layer again, and call this one the projection line. Projection line. Let's change the color of that. Let's use green for our projection line. The line type we're going to be using the continuous. We already have it here, so there's no need to load any new line. All right, so we're going to work with these 4 layers. 0 layer will be the outline of our object, the hidden line, the center line, and the projection line. For our 0 layer, which will be the outline of the object that we draw, we're going to change the line weight. So we're going to click here, line weight, and we're going to change the line weight to 0.30. All right, so that is all here. Then we're going to close this. So we're going to be drawing this object. We're currently in the 0 layer. So we're going to draw the isometric object. So we're going to go to iso draft down here. If we're not seeing this icon right here, then we need to move over to the side panel here. Click on this icon and search for the iso draft. So it's already on here. It's on. So we're gonna exit that. That's the customization panel. So it's here. We're gonna click here to turn it on, and we need our ISO. With the ISO draft is already on. We need our ortho mode to be on. We can click the F8 function button to turn that on. All right, so we are now ready to draw. We're currently in the left plane. I'm going to be changing it to the right plane, so we can click the down arrow to change that to whichever plane we need, or we can press the F5 function key. Some computers you're gonna need to hold down the FN key and then press the function buttons, whichever function button, right? It depends on the computer. Some computers you can just go ahead and press the various function key and it will work. If not, find the FN key, press and hold it down, and press the respective function key. Right, so in this case with my computer, I have to hold down the FN key and press the F5. So by pressing that, it will continually change from the left to the top to the right. All right, so I'm going to be using the right one first. So the line right here has a measurement of 40. This line here going up is 80. Across the top here is 15. And then downwards here would be 65 and 15, giving us the 80. So we're going to draw this L shape here. So it's line command. Press our line command. Let's move upwards by 80. And this is a tiny object. So we're going to be zooming in on it, moving across by 15, down by 65, across by 25, down by 15, and then back this way by 40. Escape. So here we have the L shape. All right, so let's look back at this object here. What we need at the top, we need 60 line across here, 60 by 15. So we're going to draw that. Let me zoom back into this object, rolling the ball on the mouse. Zoom, roll away, will zoom in, roll towards you, will zoom out. Right, so I'm going to change the FN function again to the top plane. So we do that by pressing the F5 key, or we can change it from here, pressing the down arrow and selecting the top plane. So it's another line command, L enter, click the point here, move this direction by 60, move forward by 15, and then this direction by 60. So I'm going to complete the object going down and across. I'm going to change my function isodraft plane again. So I'm going to move it to the left plane, line command from the point here down by 80 and across by 60. So here is the object. There is one line at the back here that we need to draw to complete the back portion here. So for this, line command again, click here, moving this direction. We cannot stop here. If you notice, it is going to be clicking on the midpoint, which we don't want. So in order to avoid that, we can move it across and then click. So I'm just going to pull it across here, and then I'm going to click, and then I'm going to be trimming away the extra portion here. So the trim command TR enter, or we can look for this scissors here, press it and clip off this end and clip this end again. So we click those two areas, and that's the portion that remains that we need. So let's look back at this object here again. We need the front part now of the spindle housing. So we're going to be drawing this. First of all, we need to find the center point here. Notice that from the top moving down, we have 30 millimeters down and 35 moving forward. So let's establish the center. We can do that by tracking the point, or we can draw the line. The simplest way for most students to understand is simply to draw the line. So I'm going to be drawing the lines. So L enter, line command. And from the midpoint here, I'm going to be moving downwards by 30. And then changing my function command, moving to the top plane, moving outwards now. I'm going to moving out by 35 and escape. So this point is the front of the object right here. So from here, I'm going to be drawing the two circles on the front. Small circle have a diameter of 12, the bigger one 24. Notice that there's also another circle here, diameter 40. So in isometric, these are not circles now, but they are ellipse, right? The shape is not totally round or perfectly round. So we use the ellipse command to draw those. So let's draw the three circles using the ellipse command. So what we need to do first, change um, our plane, F5. We're using this one here, the left plane. So the ellipse command, EL, which is the short for ellipse, and then I'm going to press enter, and then at the base here it says to specify the axis or of ellipse or the arc, the center, or isocircle. The isocircle is what I need, so I'm going to be pressing isocircle, or I can simply type I, click here. Notice now the circle will fall here. Now the diameter was given, so I'm going to be pressing the diameter or type D enter, and then the measurement of course is 40, enter. So that's the big circle up here at the front. We're repeating the process now for the ellipse, EL enter, I enter. This is the center point, click that, and I'm dealing with diameter, click the diameter again, diameter is 24, enter. One more time, EL enter, I enter. From the point here, the diameter is 12, enter. So all I need to do now is to draw the lines here attaching the object from the front circle back to the back circle here. So I'm going to be zooming in and drawing my lines, looking for the quadrant here. Click on the quadrant, search for the next one up here, or can search for the tangent to get it on the edge here. Yes. And then same procedure below, quadrant to tangent. Let's look for the tangent, yeah. And then I'm going to be trimming away the portion that I don't need. So TR enter, trim away here and here, trimming this section here, trimming here, 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 and here. Now this line here, I'm going to let it remain. I'm going to turn it into a center line. So click on the line, and then from the layers up here, click this down arrow, center line. I'm going to turn that into the center line. I'm not seeing the lines on it, so the scale needs to change, but that can remain for now. This line here as well, that's a center line. So I'm going to change that. By the way, this one can go all the way down to the base here. And this one, let's pull it forward so that we can see the actual center line in effect. We need to change the function F5 moving forward. Right. And we could pull this backwards as well. Right. So that passes through the center here. We can also add another one coming across here. Let's move to the center. Let's move to let's select this layer. Double click here to change to the center line. So on the drawing, the line will be yellow. Let's pull it the other way. All right. So notice now we have the isometric of the object basically completed. I'm going to show you now how we use the thickness of the line to get this in a different appearance. So we have the line weight icon here, and if we are not seeing it again, we'll go to the customization at the side here and look for the line weight. So I have it here. So if I just click on this, then the object becomes thicker, the outline becomes thicker. So this would be the isometric of the object. I'm going to take that off back for a while until I finish the orthographic projection. So that is the isometric of the object. I'm going to just put the orthographic beside it, right? So let's begin. In order to do that now, we need to exit the isodraft command, which is here. So let's click on the icon here, getting back our cursor looking like this. Good. So we're going to start out with 2 lines. Let's get out of the center. Let's use the projection. Let's use the projection lines. The projection layer, that is. Let's double click here. That's green. And then I'm going to draw a line downwards to a length of 200. And I'm going to draw a horizontal line being 200 as well. Or we can rotate this line, arrow, enter, select the line, base point of rotation using the center and the angle of rotation being 90. Arrow, enter. Sorry, we should have copied the line first, copy, and then the rotation angle 90, right? So here we have it. We have vertical line 200, horizontal line 200, cutting across each other in the middle. So this object must be drawn in third angle orthographic projection. So basically the side that you're looking from, that is where you would put each figure. So the front view will be on the left at the bottom, the end view will be on the right at the bottom, and the plan view will be at the top above the front view. So front view will be here. So we're going to draw the front view. So let's begin. So first of all, we're going to track the line. So the tracking command, we start up with line command L, enter, TK, enter. From the center here, we move this direction by 10, and then we're moving downwards as well by 10. So this is where we're going to be starting our drawing, and then press the enter command again to exit the tracking. So now we're back in the line command. The line across here, which is the top of this object, measures 60. So type 60, enter, and downwards the length of the object was 80. So it's 60 across and 80 up. So that represents where the front view will fall. Now, looking at the object from the front, you notice that this line here would go straight across. So we're gonna need to have a line that will represent this back line, which is now gonna be a hidden line at the front here. So the height of it is 15. So what I'm gonna be doing is to offset, so that's O, enter, offset through a distance of 15 this line. You click on the line and upwards click. The distance is 15, right? So it's O, enter, put in the measurement, which is 15 in this case, and then click on the line and move in the direction that you want to offset. So this line here should actually be a broken line or a hidden line. So I'm going to click on hidden, this line representing the back line here, looking from the front of the object. Now we have some circles on the front, so I'm going to be drawing the center line and putting in that details. So again, from the top down, the measurement was 30, so I'm going to be drawing a line across here to represent the center line. So zooming back into this drawing, let's offset or enter, this time 30, enter this top line downwards, and this line 30 across. This represents the center. So these two lines, I'm going to turn those into center lines. And then now we have some circles to draw. So I'm just going to move back to my zero layer, double click here, and then I'm going to be drawing the circles. We have 3 circles showing on the front. So let's select center diameter. From here, first, the biggest circle is have a diameter of 40. The second circle, bigger circle, the smaller one has a diameter of 24, and the smallest circle have a diameter of 12. So here, this represents our front view. So I'm just going to overlay these lines with a white line, or we could change them, right? But I'm just going to overlay these lines with a white line representing the front view of the object. Now the plan view must be directly above it. So what I'm going to be doing is going back in my green layer projection lines, and then I'm going to be drawing lines upwards. So line from these points moving up, I'm going to make it equal to this, and a second line from here, letting it be equal right here. And then for the plan view, notice now the plan view, I'm looking down on the object. So if you're looking down on this object, you're going to be seeing the front part here protrude before we actually see this top part and then the part below here. So let's look at the distance between the front of the object to here, which is 35, and then this measurement across here is 15, and then at the back here it would be 25. Seeing that the entire length here is 40 and 15 is taken out, we have 25 remaining. So let's put that information in here. So what I'm going to be doing is to offset or enter. I'm going to offset this line down here by 20 up first of all. So this is going to now represent my starting point. Now remember that this first part here measures 35 from the front to the center line here. So I'm going to offset this line, click on it, moving up, type 35, enter. And then now to represent the 15 portion here, which is the top of this object, I'm gonna zoom back into this, click on this line. Since I'm still in the offset command, click on the line. It is already programmed for 20, but I need 15, so I'm gonna type 15. And then one more time, click on it and type this time 25. So those are the lines that I need. And then I'm gonna draw some projection lines to represent the circles. Now, line command from this point here where the center line touches the circle, it should go to this line here, which is the 35 from the front of the object. The same thing on the other side, from here, end of the circle, to this line. Now remember that the two smaller circles here are on the front of the object. So drawing a line from here, then this line stops here. Same thing for the other side. Line command from here to here. Now I'm gonna switch back to my white layer, outline layer. And then I'm going to be drawing a line from here to here. Same thing for the other side, from here to here. Now, these two slanted lines represented this pointed section of the drawing. That's right here, represents this tapered section of the drawing. So if you're looking from above, you're going to be seeing that tapered section. So that is what we are seeing here. So in reality now, let me just turn off the projection lines. So I'm just turn off this little bulb here, turn off the green layer. So that exposes now everything else except the green. So what happened now, I'm going to be drawing my lines from the end to here. Same thing for the other side. And then I'm going to trim away here. So this represents the plan view of the object. This represents the front view of the object. And they are properly aligned with each other. So just turning on back this so that you can see the projection lines. All right. So we turn on and off so that we can see clearly what's happening here, the difference between the various lines. Right. So we're going to be drawing the end view of the object, the end view. Now the end view should be in this quadrant down here. All right. So zoom into that a little. What we need then is a 45-degree line up here. For that, we need the green layer. So let's get to the green layer, which is right here. And then we need to exit the ortho mode or press the F8 to get out of that. We want the polar tracking, which is F10. So we need to select this down arrow and make sure that we're on the 45 angle. That's the one we'll be selecting. So turning on our polar tracking and then drawing a line from the center here. Notice now this green broken lines means that the angle is at 45. Down here it's 0, 45 here, and 90, 135, 180, and so forth. So it divides the angle into 45 degrees. So this is the one that we want right here. So I'm going to pull up a little more and click. So that is at 45. So what happens now, we should draw lines from these endpoints moving over to the 45-degree line and then downwards. Right, so let me just get the end of the object here, where the object would be, line from the end here back to here. So the end view will fall within this area. Let me get the other lines now. Line command from here, touching the 45 and downwards. So the end view will fall between these two vertical lines. The top line from here, line command moving across to here. All right, so the object will fall now within this section. Gonna get the other lines now. From here, touch the 45 and downwards. All lines, same procedure. Right, so I have 1, 2, 3, have these lines already. I need the lines down here now. From the top of this circle, we can stop this one right here. Yeah, so that it doesn't confuse you too much. And then another line from here back to here. If you're not understanding, we need to bring it all the way to the end so that we can get, well, let me put it all the way to the end so that we can see what is really happening in other cases. All right, pull this all the way to the end. The smaller circles now, all the way here, this one here. All right, we don't need to bring this one here, it's just on the front. All right, so, oh, the broken line from here, move this one across. Good. So the end view will fall here, so don't worry about the confusing state here. I'm going to change back to the white layer and outline the object. So to outline the object now, let's say line, the object will start here. This is at the top of the object. This is actually the pointed section, so the object actually starts here. So we're gonna draw from here, moving down and across, up, across here, up, and across here. So you get that L-shaped portion already. Now for the conical section here, so we're gonna be drawing from this point. Notice this is the top, and this line represents the bottom, which is here. Move down to this line here. Oops, arrow. This is a line, this is the top, and then this one is the bottom, so we move back to here. Right, so let me just turn off this green line for a while again. So this represents the end view, front view, plan view, end view, equally spaced. We have the isometric over here. So the projection lines, if you turn those on, basically those help to line up the object properly. So when we are finished, we need to turn on the line weight. So we get the thickness of the line. We could turn off this at this time, the projection lines. Right, the only thing then that you would need to do probably is to add some measurements to the isometric or to put it to the orthographic as the case might be. So that basically is what needs to be done. Third angle projection. You have the isometric of the object here, and you have the orthographic view in third angle projection. So whichever side you're looking from the left, you put the front view on the left. If you're looking from the right with the end view, you put the end view on the right. You're looking from above with the plan, you put the plan above. So this is third angle orthographic projection. This is the isometric projection. Over here, we have the diagram of the spindle housing, right? So basically, that's how that is done.